Dear friends, 3rd of October. This is to my, first of all, European viewers. However many of you are there, however many of you can see anything coming from Russia. Wake up. I mean, seriously, it's time to wake up. Because they're gonna exterminate you, genocide you. And you're still asleep. Yeah, it's the 3rd of October. The cold's coming, and this is supposed to be a record-breaking cold year. Kids in Czech Republic are already sitting in school in blankets, and it's only the 3rd of October. What do you think is going to happen in a month? What do you think is going to happen in 2 months? And what I'm getting at is not only have they cut off gas from Russia, and all the other points, you know, Nord Stream 2, we refuse to switch on. Nord Stream 1, well, you know, we don't want to pay, we don't this, that, and we'll continue sending weapons to kill Russians. Oh, wow, how dare Russians weaponize the gas that they're feeding us so we can kill more Russians. Oh, well, screw it. Let's just blow up the pipelines, because guess what? You guys blew up the pipelines. Maybe it was your American masters that bitch slapped you and blew up the pipelines, but it was you, the West. But it's only you, the Europeans, are going to be dying from this. So, the Ukrainians have closed down one line. We're on the edge of declaring war with Ukraine, which will close down the second line. And now, Ursula has decided that we will no longer need the Russian gas from the south. That's right, the Turkish distribution companies have had their, and transport companies on Turkstream have had their licenses pulled by Ursula, the Emperor of the EU, which is about to get a lot less populated come this winter. And yes, those 90+% full reserves of gas in Germany, great. Only problem is that's about 30% of what you need. Those are meant to buffer the flow during winter, because the flow during winter isn't enough. So you buffer off those reserves. And then, on an average winter, you pretty much have an empty reserve. And now you're already pulling those reserves. But luckily, the Poles will be getting their gas, which pipeline switched on the same day from Norway, as run through Denmark. Same day as Nord Stream 1, Nord Stream 2 sprouted leaks, you know, after big explosions. So, was it so the question only remains, was a submarine, divers, or a torpedo? Either way, you're screwed. And your kids are going to be starving and dying. So wake up. Wake the hell up. Well, apparently most of you won't. 3,000-4,000 Germans coming out. Oh, that's I feel for those people, because those people are actually human beings with a brain stem as well as a brain. The majority of you Germans are spineless morons waiting to freeze and die. What are you waiting for? To your butt to permanently freeze to your couch? Because you've got to be stupid. I mean, at this point, you've got to be so damn stupid that it ain't even funny. Yeah, well, the Italians are going to go tell you to screw yourselves. And they're going to continue getting gas from us and oil, because we're just going to send it to them in tankers, one way or the other. And the Italians are going to be owning your industry, Germans. You are nothing but a third world country in the making from your own stupidity. And a fellow German, Ursula, is the one that's going to coup d'etat you. I mean, God, talk about a controlled shot in the back of the head. You can make this shit up. I mean, really, if I wrote a fantasy book about this 5 years ago, people would say I was insane. This is all crazy and way too far-fetched. Star Trek would be more realistic than that. But no, here we go. We're living this insanity. And the German people, yeah, still spineless, still too asleep. Well, you know what? When you freeze to death, so they say anyways, you do so with a smile, because you just drift off into sleep. And since you're already mostly asleep, you won't even notice when you're dead. You know, the shiny lights will come on, and, you know, you're going to have to answer to God while you let your kids freeze. But, you know, hey, at least it won't be too painful freezing if you go fast. It's the frostbite that gets you if you don't go fast. And your fingers start to break off and all that. Yeah, that sucks. That really sucks, and the gangrene sets in. But if you just go out and freeze to death, then it'll be fast, relatively, and you'll feel warm in the end. I guess it's national suicide, a.k.a. Germany gone extinct, not to mention Austria gone extinct, and most everybody else. The only countries not gone extinct right now are going to be Turkey, because they're smarter than a lot of you. No matter how much you pointing your nose in their direction. It's going to be Hungary, the smartest bunch there, and the only government that actually stood up for its people. The Italians, if they hurry, now that they've actually woken up, and the rest of you are going to die. Or you're going to turn into third world shitholes by the time this winter's over. Your industry's dead. I mean, my God, you're talking about instant 18th century? No, you're not even 18th century, because in the 18th century, the industry that was growing was burning coal. So you had something. You won't even have that. I mean, really. And the Americans are just taking your companies. I mean, my God, how stupid have you got to be? You're letting the Americans right in your nose flip you off, blow up your only lines of survival. Damn you to have to buy their gas at 3-4 times the cost whenever they sell it. And they're going to sell more than enough to you to keep those prices sky high as they suck out the last of whatever little savings you have. And then they're going to have cushy jobs for your owners. In banks and other think tanks. They'll all move to the U.S. They're not going to stick around once you're a dead nation. They're sure still not going to die for you. They might push you into war against us. So there'll be maybe a slightly slower extermination, since you'll go off like good little lemmings to get your little bit of gas, and you get your little 200 grams of bread. Good little lemmings. I mean, that's Russia's sitting here. I mean, everyone I know is laughing at this point. They're just amazed, laughing at the stupidity and just mind-boggling brainlessness of the vast majority of the Übermensch Europeans. Yep, welcome to extermination by your own hand, first of all. This is like death by cop, or you can't do it yourself, so you go act like you're about to shoot a cop and the cop shoots you. It's death by Russia. So, I mean, if you wanted to commit suicide, you could have just gone done it yourselves. But okay, whatever. So, I mean, obviously, it's October. It's October 3rd. Winter is beating the door down. And in about a month, it's gonna get cold. I mean, seriously, your balls frozen to your to the bottom of whatever you're sitting on cold. You know, those little tiny things that you still have hanging underneath you. And you've been neutered or bred into submission by your owner, your Anglo owners. My God. At least the Anglo owners across the sea that are now sucking you dry like vampire squids. Even the British, I thought they were going to get a piece of that pie or have an economic collapse. Boy, that's an island that just deserves what it gets. I mean, that's the main number one enabler of the American theft of everything you ever owned, your families ever owned, and you could ever pass on to your children to them to own. Oh, yeah. Well, you know, that's that. Oh, and for the Americans, I congratulate you. I mean, Christ. The English robbed an entire subcontinent, India. You're robbing an entire continent, Europe. Wow, I mean, that's hats off to you. I mean, most of you aren't going to get any of it. You're going to be paying and living in poverty. But your poverty, at least you're probably not going to be freezing and starving to death like what Americans refer to as Eurotrash. So hey, at least it's not the end for you guys. You might be able to get another round of debt to purchase a few more things. I mean, sure, Europe's probably going to have a liquidation sale on everything they own, just for another 200 grams of bread. But hey, to each his own. Congratulations on the biggest theft in human history. And the victims are too dumb to even realize it. Well, even if they're not too dumb, I'm sure quite a few of them do realize it. They're too weak, spineless, and bred into the learned captivity to actually do anything about it. So, okay. Chill out.